Forgiveness isn't about your effort. It's about knowing just how serious sin is and trusting that Jesus' blood is enough to wash it away. Have you ever wondered why God required blood to forgive sins? Why He was so specific about sacrifices? Leviticus 16 holds the answer. It's not just an ancient ritual, it's a glimpse into God's justice, mercy, and the perfect sacrifice of Jesus. The book of Leviticus is often skipped over, seen as boring or outdated, but is actually the heart of holiness. Written by Moses, it's a manual for the priests and the people of Israel, showing them how to live in a way that allows a holy God to dwell among them. And in the center of this book is Leviticus 16, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. On this day, 2 goats without blemish were chosen. 1 goat was sacrificed, its blood sprinkled on the altar to cover the sins of the people. The other, the priest laid his hands on its head, confessed the sins of Israel over it, and sent it out into the wilderness, symbolically carrying their sins far away. This is why we get the word scapegoat. These rituals were powerful, but temporary. They had to be repeated year after year. Why? Because the blood of animals could only cover sin. It could never take it away, according to Hebrews 10:4. But all of this pointed to something greater, someone greater. He didn't just cover sin, He removed it once for all. Hebrews 10:10. His perfect life and perfect obedience satisfied God's holiness in a way no animal sacrifice ever could. Now you and I, we don't need to wait for a special day. We don't need a temple, we don't need a priest. We have direct access to God through Jesus. Let's not forget, God is holy. In Exodus 10, God struck down Aaron's sons for offering unauthorized fire. That's how serious this is. God doesn't bend His standards. That's why Jesus' obedience is so precious. He did what we could not do. And now we're forgiven, cleansed, and welcomed into God's presence, not because we're good, but because He is. Some might say, why couldn't God just forgive without all of this blood and sacrifice? Because God is just. Sin always has a cost. The wage of sin is death. But God's love provided a substitute, a sacrifice. Jesus didn't just die, He died in our place. Satan knows this, and he will use 2 tricks to pull you away from Jesus. First trick is minimizing your sin. It's not that bad, so we stop caring and we trample over the cross like it means nothing. And another way is to maximize your sin. It says something like, you're too far gone, so we drown in shame, trying to earn God's approval through works and legalism. Both are lies. The truth? Forgiveness isn't about your effort. It's about knowing just how serious sin is and trusting that Jesus' blood is enough to wash it away. So don't treat sin lightly, but don't live in guilt either. Fall at the cross. Stand in the power of Jesus' sacrifice and walk in freedom, holy, forgiven, and loved. Because of Jesus, you belong in God's presence. That's the power of the Day of Atonement. And that's why we worship. If this helped you understand God's Word more deeply, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's keep living for eternity together.